y'all. Welcome to another edition of Replicon Radio. It's Freaky P. I have a very special guest with me on the line today, Mr. Frank Sabatella, who is the writer and director of the brand new movie, The Shed. How you doing today, Frank?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
We appreciate you calling in and hanging out with us here at Replicon Radio. We all watched the movie. We thoroughly enjoyed it. For everybody tuning in this, we also have a review of the movie up on our YouTube page as well, Replicon Radio. So go peep that out.
Awesome.
So we definitely want to talk about the movie, but what we'd like to do here is we want to go back, back to the beginning, kind of get to know you a little bit better. How did everything kind of get started for you? I guess you were like a photographer in New York. Is that kind of how everything began for you, or how did that all come about?
Well, yeah, photography was and is part of my career. I've been a horror lover since I was a little kid. Always loved monsters and scary stories and campfire tales and every slasher movie that came out in the 80s. I've always been into horror, and I've always been creative, so I've always been writing. Ever since I learned how to write, I would write scary stories. As I got older, I wrote better scary stories, hopefully, and my career went into photography through high school and college, and just bringing storytelling and photography and bringing it all together, it just makes sense that I would be writing and directing films, because it's all visual storytelling. So it all kind of comes together, and me just loving horror just brings us right to where we are today.
So even as a child, you were like a really big fan of horror and all that.
Totally.
So was it like vampire, monster, werewolf type stuff, or were you more into like slasher, all that kind of horror, or how?
I just loved it all. If it was horror, I loved it. You know what I mean? I love monsters. I love slashers. I love ghosts. I just like horror. I just like dark genre things. I like spooky things. It's just part of who I am.
That's awesome. Definitely a super cool thing. So you ended up going to film school in New York. Did you get started with doing like cinematography and different things like that before you got into actual directing or writing? I know you shot like music videos for some bands around town. Is that kind of where it all began there, or how did it get started? Is that kind of where you learned the craft?
I think I think a lot of filmmakers have a similar story of like trying to make movies with their dad's VHS camera, and that was kind of what I was doing as a young teenager and adolescent. And as I got through college and started going to film school, I learned the craft of filmmaking. I had talent, and I had instincts, and I had ideas, and film school gave me the tools to start actually learning. Here's how you put a production together. Here's how you put intent behind direction and behind shots, etc. And then from film school, I started doing music videos and anything that put me near a production set, whether I was directing it or not, or I was just shooting it, or if I was just helping out on set. I just liked being on set and learning how movies are made.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely a whole other world.
Yeah.
When you try to get into it, then thinking what it is, like cinematography and director of photography and all those different things, you're like, definitely a huge thing to start learning. Was there anything around that time? Like we're big connoisseurs of music. We do a lot of music and have a lot of musical guests and stuff. Was there anything that like maybe you worked on, or that something you were a part of back in those early days that has become something nowadays that maybe people may know about, or no?
No, nobody really major. I think the closest thing I did to something recognizable was I worked on a Bouncing Souls music video, which was really cool. I got to do some graphic design that was used in the video, and I also was the first AD while they were shooting the video, which was nice. AD is assistant director, in case you don't know what that is.
Awesome.
But I think everything else was probably like indie music and stuff like that never really, or at least to my knowledge, got a large life beyond what was going on, you know?
Yeah. Well, either way, that's awesome. It's a really cool place to start. So then I guess, was it 2009? You did the Blood Knight, Legend of Mary Hatchet. Like, how did you go from, unknown guy trying to get in to, like, finally releasing a movie on your own like that?
I had been working with a couple of different production people, and I was trying to get a feature film made, and I really just had a lucky moment where a girl I was dating at the time worked for a company that was seeking to finance a horror film, and I got a meeting with their executives, and I think we hit it off pretty well, and they were interested in my idea, and it kind of snowballed from there. I was like, all right, cool, this is going to be a great opportunity, and we went forward with it. We made the film, and eventually Lionsgate distributed it, and that's really where it started in terms of the feature filmmaking.
That's awesome.
Sorry to interrupt.
So with that, I guess it led to where we are now with The Shed, which is you kind of teamed up with the man behind Lionsgate success, I guess a lot of people say.
Yeah.
Working with you, was he working with you directly on this project, or like how did that relationship come together?
Yeah, Peter was very direct with me on this project. Me and him pretty much did the last few drafts of the script together. He would give me like incredible script notes, and we'd have these awesome creative meetings, and we really fine-tuned the screenplay. And then Peter was intrinsic in getting the production together and getting it financed. And Peter was on set every single day, and it was awesome. We worked together really well, and we become really great friends too.
Yeah, and The Shed comes out in select theaters and video on demand November 15th. And it's kind of like not only is it a horror movie, it's also like a coming of age. Like the kids are bullied and they find their their way out or something like that. I guess just little keynotes and what would you want people to take from the movie once they see it? Like what's the idea behind the premise?
I want people to really just look at the movie and be like, that was really cool, and have a good time and enjoy the film. But I also wanted to see the underlying aspects of how the film can be metaphorical for, displaced rage, and how abuse and neglect can really lead to some very horrific circumstances. And, maybe people will think twice before they, are so negative and shitty to other people.
Absolutely. Yeah, 'cause you never know who's going to have a pet monster lurking in their shed or whatever it may be. But yeah.
Or any other instrument of destruction.
Absolutely, yeah. Who knows? But yeah, it's a fantastic movie. Everyone should go check it out. I wish we had a little more time to talk to you, man. But I'm sure it's going to be a big hit. Congratulations on the success so far, and hopefully we'll have more time to chat.
Thank you so much. That would be great. Just reach out.
Awesome. Thank you.
Take it easy.
All right, brother. Have a good day.
Bye. You too.
And there it is, Mr. Frank Sabatella. I apologize to anybody tuned in if there was some weird audio things. We had a little bit of issues with the audio when we were recording it. My vocal was really quiet. I tried to re-record some of it, which probably made it even more awkward, but I wanted you to be able to hear it. So I do apologize for that. Regardless, shout out to Frank Sabatella. Awesome director and writer. Go see the movie The Shed. It's out now. As of today, November the 15th. Video on demand, select theaters. Go peep out our review on our YouTube channel as well. Let us know what you think about it. Hopefully we'll have more reviews in the future. And, give us your input. Bad, good, ugly, worse. And, we'll get better as time goes on. And make sure you always tune in, RepliconRadio.com. We do a live show every Monday night, 6 to 10 p.m. Central. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for even more. And for even more, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/RepliconRadio. And as always, buy merch. # The Replicon is watching. Much love. Peace.